Mental health conditions are challenges that impact how a person thinks, feels, or behaves over an extended period, often disrupting their daily life in meaningful ways. These struggles can affect anyone, showing up as difficulties in managing emotions, maintaining relationships, or handling everyday tasks. You might wonder, are conditions like depression or anxiety considered mental health issues? Absolutely. In fact, they're among the most common. Below, we'll dive into 10 prevalent mental health conditions, exploring what they are, how they manifest, and ways to address them. First, anxiety disorders. Anxiety disorders affect millions of people each year, with roughly 1 in 5 adults experiencing symptoms that range from persistent worry to debilitating panic. These conditions include generalized anxiety disorder (GID), panic disorder, social anxiety disorder, and obsessive-compulsive disorder (OCD), among others. What ties them together is an overwhelming sense of fear or unease that disrupt sleep, work, or social connections. For example, someone with GID might feel consumed by worry about everyday events, while someone with social anxiety might dread social interactions. The silver lining? Effective treatments exist. Therapies, such as cognitive behavioral therapy (CBT), can help reframe anxious thoughts, while medications may ease symptoms for some. Many people also find relief through mindfulness practices or lifestyle changes, though only a fraction, less than half, seek professional help, often because anxiety can feel isolating or overwhelming. Second, personality disorders. When someone's behavior, emotions, or thought patterns consistently clash with societal norms, they might be experiencing a personality disorder. These conditions, which affect roughly 1 in 10 people to varying degrees, lead to distress in how individuals perceive themselves, interact with others, or respond emotionally. For instance, someone might struggle with intense emotional outbursts, difficulty forming stable relationships, or impulsive actions that feel hard to control. Unlike fleeting quirks, personality disorders cause significant life challenges. Treatment often involves a blend of therapy, such as dialectical behavior therapy (DBT) and, in some cases, medication to address occurring issues like anxiety or depression. While there's no cure, these approaches can help individuals manage symptoms and lead fulfilling lives. Third, attention-deficit hyperactivity disorder (ADHD). When you hear ADHD, you might picture a hyperactive child unable to sit still. But ADHD is far more complex, affecting people across all ages, roughly 1 in 10 children and many adults. Symptoms vary widely, from trouble focusing and frequent forgetfulness to restlessness or impulsivity. There are 3 main types: predominantly inattentive, predominantly hyperactive - impulsive, and a combined type, each presenting unique challenges. Treatment often goes beyond medication. While stimulant medications can help, many benefit from behavioral therapy, life coaching, or structured routines. For adults, strategies like time management tools can make a big difference. ADHD isn't just about bouncing off the walls, it's about navigating a world that feels harder to organize. Fourth, post-traumatic stress disorder (PTSD). Trauma is a part of life for many, but for some, it lingers in ways that profoundly affect mental health. Post-traumatic stress disorder (PTSD) can develop after experiencing or witnessing events like abuse, accidents, or natural disasters. An estimated 1 in 15 people will face PTSD at some point, with symptoms like nightmares, flashbacks, or intense anxiety that persist long after the event. Complex PTSD arises from prolonged trauma, such as ongoing childhood neglect, and may include feelings of shame or difficulty trusting others. Treatment often involves trauma-focused therapies, like eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, EMDR, or cognitive behavioral therapy (CBT), which help individuals process and move past their experiences. Recovery is possible, but it takes time and support. Fifth, depression. Feeling down is a normal part of life, but depression is different. It's a heavy, persistent low mood that lingers for weeks or months, affecting roughly 1 in 15 adults. Women might experience it as overwhelming sadness or guilt, while men might notice irritability or exhaustion. Depression can sap energy, disrupt sleep, and make even simple tasks feel insurmountable. Thankfully, there are many ways to address it. Therapies like CBT or interpersonal therapy by PT help reframe negative thought patterns, while antidepressants or lifestyle changes, like exercise, can also play a role. Support groups and psychogeification can empower individuals to navigate their journey toward healing. Sixth, bipolar disorder. Bipolar disorder goes beyond typical mood swings, affecting about 1 in 30 people who seek mental health support. It involves dramatic shifts between manic episodes marked by euphoria, impulsivity, or racing thoughts on deep depressive lows. Some experience hypomania, a milder form of mania. These shifts can feel uncontrollable, making stability a challenge. Treatment often combines mood-stabilizing medications with therapy, such as CBT or family-focused therapy, to help individuals manage their symptoms and build resilience. With the right support, many find ways to live balanced, fulfilling lives despite the condition's challenges. Seventh, eating disorders. Eating disorders, affecting about 1 in 40 people seeking treatment, are more than dissatisfaction with one's body. They involve intense distress around food and body image. Conditions like anorexia nervosa, bulimia nervosa, and avoidant restrictive food intake disorder (ADHD) often stem from a cycle of binging, purging, or restricting food, driven by deep-seated emotional pain. Recovery is possible through a combination of therapies, such as CBT tailored for eating disorders, nutritional counseling, and sometimes residential treatment, addressing underlying mental health issues, like anxiety or depression, is also key. Eating disorders are complex, but with support, individuals can rebuild a healthier relationship with food and themselves. Eighth, Obsessive-Compulsive Disorder (OCD). OCD, a type of anxiety disorder, affects about 1 in 40 people over their lifetime. It's often misunderstood as just being overly neat or germ-phobic, but it's far more intense. OCD involves intrusive, uncontrollable thoughts, obsessions on repetitive behaviors, compulsions meant to ease the resulting anxiety. For example, someone might check locks repeatedly or feel compelled to organize items in a specific way to avoid overwhelming fear. Treatment typically includes exposure and response prevention (ERP), a form of CBT, alongside medications like selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors (SSRIs). These approaches help individuals manage symptoms, even if OCD remains a lifelong challenge for some. Ninth, Autism Spectrum Disorder (ASD). Autism spectrum disorder, affecting roughly 1 in 60 children, is a developmental condition that shapes how individuals communicate, learn, and interact socially. Symptoms vary widely. Some might struggle with eye contact or social cues, while others may have repetitive behaviors or intense interests in specific topics. Many aren't diagnosed until later in life. As awareness grows, support for ASD often includes tailored education plans, applied behavioral analysis (ABA), speech or occupational therapy, and sometimes medication for co-occurring conditions. These interventions aim to enhance communication and independence, helping individuals thrive in their unique way. 10th, Schizophrenia and psychotic disorders. Psychotic disorders, affecting about 1 in 100 people, involve disruptions in reality, such as hallucinations, delusions, or disorganized thinking. Schizophrenia is the most well-known, but other forms exist. Symptoms often emerge in adolescence or early adulthood, with roughly 100 people experiencing their first psychotic episode annually. Temporary psychosis can also arise from stress, medications, or substance use. Treatment typically involves antipsychotic medications, therapy like CBT, and case management to support daily living. While living with a psychotic disorder can be challenging, many find stability and lead meaningful lives with proper care. Mental health affects many of us in different ways. Every journey is unique, and every voice matters. Have you or someone close to you experienced this? What stood out to you? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe to our channel to support what we're doing and follow along as we continue sharing more on mental health. Thanks for watching. This content is for educational purposes only. If you need support, please Contact a mental health professional, crisis line, or local resources. You are not alone.